What's up, guys? Synthetic Division here. So today's video, we're going to be talking about the Lucky Miner LV06. Now, full disclosure here, I paid for this myself. Bought it from AliExpress for about $62 or $65 shipped. This device is a 13-watt miner that mines at about 500 gigahash, so not even a terahash. It uses one BM1366 ASIC. It's comparable to like a Bitaxe Ultra, from my understanding, and I could be wrong. Mine is overclocked because originally, when I bought it, it was running at 450 gigahash, so I overclocked it slightly. Um, Packaging wise, this was a AliExpress special package. Nothing fancy. The fact that it didn't get smashed is surprising to me. Let's go ahead and while we're talking about it, we'll break it down. Thermal wise, this is actually runs pretty cool. About 52 to 55 C. I do have it pulled up here on AXA on the OS, and I will show you that here in a minute. So this comes stock with Lucky Miner OS. I think it's like a modified version of AxOS, closed sourced. Um, yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. Anyways, let's go ahead and open it up real quick, and I'll show you the guts, show you what it looks like. So to get it open, use a little flat blade, stick it in there, and pry it down. Try not to be too aggressive. You don't want to stab the board with it. Once you get it popped open like that, you can just drop it open. And then it does have a cable for the screen, so you can detach that from the board. It's kind of a pain to get off there, but just wiggle the connector. And that's what the board looks like on the front. Let's take it completely off the case, and I'll let you see everything about it. A few things to note when you're doing this. The heatsink is sharp, and it will cut you. I seen another guy who did a video and it actually cut himself on the corners right here. It got me once, but it didn't get me. My hands are too messed up from being a mechanic to do that problem, to get cut easily. So there's a close up of the board, and there's a close up of the backside. Um, yeah, so nothing too fancy about this. It's a low powered. I wouldn't even call it a low power miner because I mean, you turn up the clock on this thing barely, and it's 17 watts. So at a half a gigahash or half a terahash, not really efficient. I will say that this is not efficient at all. Um, I did add a heatsink over here. This is one of the voltage regulators. It gets hot, so I put it on there. It does use the standard barrel jack. And you might notice if you've opened one of these that I have some pins here. I did have to solder those pins in place. And we'll get into that reason why right now, actually. So if you've used any flashing tools, you know how to flash a Bitaxe. I've never actually recorded one. I need to do that just to kind of be helpful. This and this was required for this because I had to flash this off of Lucky Miner OS to AxOS because this thing wouldn't run at all. It would disconnect and connect and disconnect and connect. And once I've reflashed Lucky Miner OS, it worked sorta, but it still would do the same thing. It would just connect and disconnect and connect and disconnect. And I did a little bit of research, just browsing the web, and saw that a few people that have bought one, not many people buy these, it seems, but the ones that did decided just to flash it to AxOS. And there's a gentleman out there, I will try to remember his name, I can't for the life of me right now. He actually wrote a version of AxOS for this. Open source on the GitHub. There's a pretty good information there. And he has it available for the LV06 and LV07. And I think there's one for the LV08 as well, which is a newer one that just came out recently. Kind of looks like a Canon Avalon. But yeah, he flashed it to AxOS, and now it works great. But from the get-go, it was not working for me. And yeah, kind of frustrating. This one was really frustrating. So again, thermals wise, it runs fine. It doesn't run hot enough to be even concerned. I put a heatsink on the voltage regulator because I knew I was going to turn it up a little bit. Here's a funny one for you. You know, I do like the case. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the fixed screen, and it's got pretty good venting, top and bottom, and the front. So when I plug it in, after it goes past the initial start screen, Bitaxe. So I've affectionately named this the Lucky Axe. Um, so let's just get down to the nitty gritty here. Without the UART, this thing's a pile of trash. It's not a good miner. It's not efficient. Slightly overclocked to get 550 to 600 gigahash. It's at 17 watts. So at that rate, you could get a Bitaxe Gamma for double, almost, yeah, double the power, double the hash rate, and better firmware, better overall design. This thing is just not good, guys. I cannot recommend that you buy one of these. Um, if you do end up with one or have one, there's some great guides out there about how to flash it. I had actually made a whole video of flashing this, but lost the audio in it. So unfortunately, it's gone. So let's go ahead and take a look over here, and I have it green in AxOS, 31.29 watts per terahash or joules per terahash. That is terrible. So here we are right here. Voltages and stuff. There is no VR temp in here, so all I know is the ASIC temp. Fans at 70%. Pretty, yeah, and see my name on there is Lucky LV06. So yeah, guys, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video for me for as far as reviews go, but I will tell you this right now, do not buy one. It is not worth the headache unless it's something you want to tinker with like I did. I did no research before I bought this. I would highly recommend you do some research before buying one. I don't know if Lucky Miner OS sends out telemetry data because it is closed source. So something to be mindful of. Flash it to Bitaxe OS. It works just fine. AxOS is working great. I'm not having any connection problems. I'm not having dropped it just randomly turning on and off and on and off and on and off. It works just fine with AxOS. Lucky Miner OS was garbage. So that's just my experience, guys. Do you have any experience with one of these? Have you ever used one? Have you tried to set it up? Have you flashed it? Let me know down in the comments. I'd be curious about your guys' experience with one of these. My experience was pretty terrible, so I might be slightly judged. Now, I would like to try the LV07 and LV08. They look interesting. The LV08 is a clone of the Canon Avalon Nano 3, 3S, one of the two. It looks a lot like one, I should say. Might not be a direct clone. But one tidbit I'd like to touch on. So I've talked to a few of my suppliers, places that I have the hookup with, sort of, with these devices, with any of the Bitaxes and Lucky Miner and stuff like that. And I was wondering why their price hasn't changed on this. Like, this is still ranges from $60 to $100. They're trying to phase them out, so they're not. They're just keeping them priced high so no one will buy them. And they have terrible sales record with them. And they've had both of the suppliers I've talked to have had to have these things returned all the time to them for the same reasons that I did. So I'm not surprised. I did, however, tell them if you're having that much trouble, you should sell me a bunch of them at a really cheap price. But I just for funs. But no, guys, seriously, save yourself the headache. Don't buy these. Buy yourself a Bitaxe Gamma or something. Plenty of reputable sellers out there, but these things are absolute junk, and I cannot recommend one in good faith to anyone. Now, if you're a tinker and you have a UART laying around, or you want to pick up a pair of these from Amazon for like $7, is how much two of these cost. This is the ones right here that I bought. You can flash the OS pretty easily. I actually would recommend that you have a UART around if you're playing with enough Bitaxes and stuff like that, because these can be super helpful in flashing them. But yeah, don't buy one. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I do have some cool stuff coming in the future. I got some new miners, some sneak peeks coming. follow along with me, guys. Hit a like if you would. You can visit me over at sin_division on X. Leave a comment over there. I post pretty regularly and repost some cool stuff there. Also, always reposting the giveaways because we all love a giveaway. I do plan to do one in the future, but I need to sort out my stuff before I do. But yeah, guys, I'd be curious your thoughts about this. So leave me a comment down below. I think that'll be it for this one. This was a tough one for me, guys, because I've had this thing for 2 months, and I probably spent 2 weeks of that tracing down leads on trying to get firmware. So it was kind of a pile of hot garbage. Do not buy. This is one I will stamp do not buy. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. I appreciate taking the time. If you have any questions, comment, concerns, please hit me up in the comments. You can visit me over on the Jellyfish Bay Discord. I'm the Jellyfish Coin Discord. There's a link in my bio for that. Peace out, guys.